Beyond Pakistan's crowded cities, the landscape opens into villages where mud brick houses cluster in green and brown fields. Here more than 60% of the population lives by a rhythm set, not by clocks, but by seasons and harvests. This is a world where family connections matter as much as work, and where collective bonds shape daily existence. In Pakistani villages, the extended family forms the basic unit: parents, children, grandparents, uncles, aunts, and cousins living nearby, sometimes under one roof. They share resources, responsibilities, and decisions. This system has kept communities together through hardship, though it also limits individual choice. Beyond the family lies the beeradari, a network of families claiming descent from a common ancestor. These connections create a web of obligations across villages. When land is divided, beeradari elders oversee the process. In parts of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan, tribal structures are even stronger. The tribal chief, or malik, settles disputes that might otherwise reach distant courts. People identify first by tribe, then by village. The tribe protects its own, but can be rigid with rule breakers. These social units, family, beeradari, and tribe, form a safety net. When crops fail, relatives help. When a woman becomes a widow, her husband's family supports her. But stepping outside these boundaries can mean losing everything: livelihood and social standing. The rural economy rests on land and agriculture. Most families own small plots, often less than 5 acres, which they farm for generations. They grow wheat, rice, cotton, and sugarcane. Spring brings planting. Summer brings nurturing under the burning sun. And autumn brings harvest when everyone works from sunrise to sunset. But farming alone rarely provides enough. Land division among sons makes plots smaller each generation, so people diversify. Most families keep buffalo or cows for milk and goats and chickens for meat. These animals are like walking bank accounts, sold in emergencies for weddings, medical treatment, or debts. Cottage industries fill gaps between harvests. Women weave carpets in courtyards. Men make pottery or produce embroidery for city markets. These crafts pass from generation to generation. When this is still not enough, men leave for months. After harvest, they travel to Karachi, Lahore, or Gulf countries to work as laborers, drivers, or factory workers. They send most earnings home to build houses, pay for education, and buy food. Women stay behind, managing farms and families. When men return, they bring not just money, but new ideas that slowly challenge old ways. Village life begins before sunrise, with the mosque's call to prayer. By first light, farmers are in their fields while women milk buffalo and start cooking, fetching water, and caring for children. What makes this life different is its communal nature. When a farmer needs help harvesting wheat, he calls relatives and neighbors who will return the favor. This system, called Baypar, means large jobs get done without money changing hands. The host provides a simple meal, but labor is freely given as part of mutual obligation. This sharing extends beyond labor. Good harvests are shared. When someone slaughters a goat for celebration, portions go to relatives and the poor. News travels through informal networks. People gather at the village shop, water pump, or mosque to exchange information. The village functions as an extended family where everyone knows each other's business. Privacy is limited, but so is loneliness. Nature sets the pace. Monsoon rains in July are celebrated because they mean rice crops will thrive. The hot months of May and June bring anxiety, watching wheat turn golden, hoping for no hail before harvest. Winter brings a slower pace time to repair tools and celebrate weddings. People read the sky, wind, and bird behavior to predict weather, just as their ancestors did. When nature is unpredictable, as with climate change, the entire village shares the crisis. In most villages, life remains divided along gender lines. Men work in fields, handle money, and make decisions. Women manage homes, cook, clean, care for children, and tend small livestock. They fetch water, often walking long distances. In conservative areas, women cover their faces outside their homes. Their world is the family compound and female neighbors. But this picture is slowly changing. As more men migrate for work, Women take on roles once considered impossible. They work in fields, manage money, and start small businesses from home selling crafts or raising chickens. NGO and government programs have created women's savings groups where they pool money to lend for emergencies. Education unlocks these changes. When girls attend school, they learn to read, write, and do basic math. While many still marry young, some delay marriage to continue education. A woman who can read manages her family's health better and can keep accounts for a small business. She can teach her children, creating improvement across generations. Changes are not easy. In some areas, conservative traditions remain strong. Honor and reputation still control women's lives in many communities, but the foundation is shifting. Young women who watched their mothers struggle are determined to give daughters more choices. Men who worked in cities are sometimes more open to change when they return. The process is slow, but moving toward greater women's participation in economic and social life. Pakistan's rural structure is a living system that has adapted to centuries of change. The social networks of family, beeradari, a tribe that once protected people from famines, now help them survive economic crises. The mix of farming, livestock, and crafts is now supplemented by money from distant cities and new technologies like solar-powered water pumps, yet pressures are immense. Climate change makes rains unpredictable. Land division creates plots too small to support families. Young people see city life on phones and want something different. The old social structures that provide security can also stifle innovation. What is remarkable is how resilient rural life remains. It absorbs new elements: mobile phones, migration, girls' education, and integrates them into old patterns rather than being destroyed. The communal spirit that makes villagers help each other harvest also makes them pool money to buy a shared tractor or support a neighbor. Is daughter attending college? Pakistan's future depends on its villages. More than half the population lives here, and city food comes from these small farms. The challenge is preserving the best of rural, life-strong communities. Land connection, mutual support, while opening doors to new opportunities. This requires roads to markets, schools for girls and boys, and respect for traditional systems as they evolve. The rhythm of rural life may be ancient, but it is simply entering a new verse in an old, enduring song.